Peter Shahid will return to Charleston City Council for his second term in January. I sit down exclusively with the councilman for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and download my free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Councilman Peter Shahid, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quintin. Glad to be on your program.
Well, thank you greatly. And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, you said this recently on your Facebook page. You said this quote, November 5th, 2019. What a day. I am humbled and honored to be reelected to a second term on Charleston City Council.
Yes, sir.
Who will be Peter Shahid as councilman in his second term?
Who will be? Continuing what we've been doing with revitalizing West Ashley. That's, that was my goal, to get the Revitalization Commission up and running. We did. We've accomplished a lot of ground in 4 years, but we have a lot of things that we need to do in the next 4 years to achieve those implementation programs.
You all said this too. Thank you to everyone who went to the polls yesterday and voted for me. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the campaign. Thank you to everyone who helped organize and worked at various campaign events. Thank you to everyone who canvassed in the evenings and on weekends. Thank you to everyone who volunteered on election day. Thank you to everyone who attended our victory celebration. Now it's time to get back to the city's business. I look forward to continuing to work with you to make our community better for everyone, because it's your voice, your vision, our seat.
Correct.
How high will your voice go on city council this time?
Well, I was thinking about that just the other day, that when I got elected 4 years ago, I was a new kid on the block. I was the only new kid on the block, as a matter of fact. And so the folks who were there had a lot more years of experience than I did. But that didn't deter me from what I wanted to accomplish. Just being a new kid on the block does not mean you sit back on your hands and do nothing. I was very thoughtful on the things I wanted to accomplish, the things that needed to be done. Mainly what we are there for is constituent service. The flooding issues, the traffic issues, the police issues, the fire department issues, critical things that we had to address on a constituent level. Critical issues we had to address on a much hire level, because we had to hire a new fire chief and a new police chief. And I was chairman of the Public Safety Committee. And so those were important things for the city, not just for District 9 residents or West Ashley residents. Those were important issues for the city, because we can't do those things right. We get no business in running city government. So we got those things done. And I think we've got some wonderful heads of our departments. Also, the budget we had to address last year was getting a pay raise for our city employees and taking care of our firefighters and getting a pay raise for them too. So when you look back on the past 4 years, Quintin, even though my focus has been on West Ashley and revitalization, there were certainly a lot of issues that we needed to be taken care of on a citywide basis. One of the things that, right off the bat was this hotel moratorium that Mayor Tecklenburg proposed. I voted for the moratorium. I mean, I saw the problem of hitting the pause button on development throughout the city, particularly downtown. And I was one of the lone wolves out there saying, hey, we need to address this.
Now you're going to get mad at me.
Go ahead.
Who are you supporting for mayor?
Well, I'm supporting John Tecklenburg.
Okay.
John has been very consistent with his approach to development, and very consistent. And I'm very fond of Mike Steekings. Mike is a friend of mine, and we sit next to one another. We collaborate on a lot of things. I like a lot of things that Mike is doing.
Okay.
But I think that we need to give the mayor another shot and continue his progress that he's made for the city as well.
And I'm hoping to get, I don't know, today is Wednesday. Can I get both of them? Can you call them and ask them to get them on Quintin's Close-Ups?
I'm glad to do that.
I've been trying for 2 weeks now.
Glad to do that.
Well, thank you. Well, let me get back to you. You also said this, when it goes back to you getting reelected, you said this quote, now it's time to get back to the city's business.
Right.
I look forward to continuing to work with you to make our community better for everyone, because it's your voice, your vision, our seat.
Correct.
Where is your vision for District 9 for the next 4 years?
So we've got to finish up a lot of the work on the Revitalization Commission that I mentioned earlier. We've got flooding issues, and I got particular neighborhoods and particular residents who are deeply impacted by flooding issues. And we need to address those issues for those folks. That's very critical to me. And some of the stuff is low-hanging fruit, some of the really easy things that we need to accomplish to take care of flooding issues. Some of the stuff may be long-term,
okay.
But we've got to address some immediate flooding issues over there. The Piggly Wiggly site making sure that it's developed in the way that people want it to be developed. I've had positive feedback on the plans we have in line for that. Citadel Mall, the Epic Center, a huge project. We just need to get those two things off the ground and in the pipeline, and people see some dirt being turned and some buildings being erected on those locations. But it has to be what the people are expecting and what the people want. And those two projects have got to be in conformity and consistent with the neighborhoods that they surround.
During the campaign,
Mm-hmm.
is there a particular issue that one of the other candidates addressed that you say, hey, I can actually address this now that I've been reelected?
Well, you know, the candidates were fussing about the revitalization plan. And so, and we were looking at that and going, wait a minute, we're doing this. We've got this plan that was unanimously approved by the commission and the planning commission and city council. You know, if we need to tweak it, we'll tweak it. I mean, we're doing that now. Issues about underground utility lines, we've been working on that for quite a while. We've already been doing that. And it's an expensive project to do. It's, I think, $200 million to do it all of West Ashley. But we've been working on those sort of things. We've been working on utility lines. We've been working on traffic control and alleviating traffic. We've been working on revitalization. We've been working on flooding. You know, all those things we've been doing.
Now, that $200 million, is that going to come from some of the West Ashley TIF?
Well, that's the $1 million question,
Okay.
or maybe the $200 million question.
Yeah.
So it's going to come from different sources, and we
Okay.
do have some money set aside, but it also comes from the utility company as well.
Okay.
So there's a breakdown on how that's going to be portioned out as well. So some people are looking at this as, I want my neighborhood to have underground, and I'm looking at it, sure, that's one way of looking at one area, because if your power lines are buried, storm comes in, you don't have to wait for the power to be restored. Okay. But the other part of this is the aesthetics that we need to be addressing on our major arteries, including, in particular, my focus has been on Old Town Road.
Right, exactly
Yes.
right. And let's see, January, when you are technically reelected, what will you do on day one? Exactly.
I plan to be with family and friends that day, maybe have a cocktail as well, and enjoy the moment of that. It's an opportunity to reaffirm to the public with the questions that you're asking me.
Sure.
It's also an opportunity to thank those publicly again for all the work that they did in helping me get re-elected. My family's patience with me, my family's involvement with it, I can't say enough about that. My finance director, my campaign director, can't say enough about those folks. And this is the army of volunteers I had out there helping me. I mean, it really is, and that's why I said it's humbling. When you've got that kind of support from family and friends who have faith in you and say, Peter, we believe in what you're doing and we're here to help you, that really gives you an opportunity to say thank you.
Councilman Peter Shahid, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Call me again. I'm here. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you. I appreciate
All right.
it. Yes,
Anytime.
sir.